Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Everyone. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Govardhana. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Nitai Gauda Haribo, 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 Gauda Haribol, Nitai Gauda Haribo. Sri Sri Govardhana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. What verse number we have? 69? Text number 9, yeah? So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 16, the pastimes of the Lord in his childhood and youth. Text number 9. Please repeat. Vidyahara Prava Vidyara Pravava Dekhi Chamatkara Chite. Vidyara Prabhava Dekhi Chamatkara Chite. Shata Shata Paduya Ashi Lagila Padite. Shata Shata Paduya Ashi Lagila Padite. Vidyara Prabhava Dekhi Chamatkara Chite. Shata Shata Praduyashi Lagila Padite. Devotees? Vidyara Prabhava Dekhi Sata Sata Padu Yashi Lagila Padite. Vidyara Pravavadeki Chadma Karachite. Sata Sata Padu Yashi Lagila Padite. Anyone else? Vidyara Pravavadeki Chatma Karachite. Sata Sata Padu Yashi. Chanmakarashite. Shata sat paduya ashi lagila parite. Vidyara of his learning. Prabhava, the influence. Deki, seeing. Chamatkara, wonder. Chite, within the heart. Shata shata, many hundreds. Paduya, disciples or students. Ashi, coming there. Lagila, began. Padite, to study. Translation, please repeat. Struck with wonder by the influence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, intellectual prowess, many hundreds of his students came to him and began studying under his direction. Struck with wonder by the influence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intellectual prowess, many hundreds of his students came to him and began studying under his direction. This verse has no purport, so we will continue reading a few of them. Seidesha viprenama mishratapana nischaya karite nare sadhya sadhana. Translation, text number 11. In East Bengal, there was a Brahmana named Tapan Mishra who could not ascertain the objective of life nor how to obtain it. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One must first ascertain the object of life and then understand how to attain it. The Krishna consciousness movement is pointing out to everyone that the object of life is to understand Krishna. And to attain that goal of life, one must practice Krishna consciousness, following the methods prescribed by the Goswamis, with reference to the authoritative Shastras and Vedas. Text number 11. Bahu Shastre Bahu Bhakye Chitte Brahmahaya Shadya Sadhane Shreshta Nahaya Nischaya. Translation, text 11. If one becomes a bookworm, reading many books and scriptures and hearing many commentaries and the instructions of many men, this will produce doubts. This will produce doubt within his heart. One cannot in this way ascertain the real goal of life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.13.8, it is said, Granta naivavyasit bahim bahun navakyam upajunjitaha. One should not read many books, nor should one try to make a profession of reciting many books, especially if one is a devotee. Prabhupada continues, one must give up the ambition to be a learned scholar, and in this way earn a worldly reputation and financial facilities. If one diverts his attention to studying many books, he cannot fix his mind in devotional service, nor can he understand many scriptures, for they are full of grave statements and meanings. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives his opinion that those who are attracted to studying many kinds of literature concerning various subject matters, especially fruitive activities and philosophical speculation, are deprived of unalloyed devotional service because of their splayed attention. Means divided attention. Man has a general tendency towards fruitive activities, religious, ritualistic ceremonies, and philosophical speculation. A living entity thus bewildered, since time immemorial, does not understand the real goal of life, and thus his activities in life are wasted. Innocent persons misled in this way are deprived of unalloyed Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. Tapan Mishra is a vivid example of such a person He was a learned scholar, but he could not ascertain what the goal of life is. Therefore, he was given a chance to hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Sanatana Goswami. Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Tapan Mishra is especially significant for persons who loiter here and there, collecting books and reading none of them, thus becoming bewildered regarding the aim of life. Text 12. Shrapne ekavipra kahe shunahata phana ninami pandita pashe karaha gamana. Tapan Mishra, being thus bewildered, was directed by a Brahmana in a dream to go to Nimai Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No purport. Text 13. Tenda Tamara Shadya Sadhana Koribenishchaya Shakshat Ishvara Tendro Nahika Samshaya. Translation. Because he is the Lord Ishvara, the Brahmana told him, this is a dream, right? Undoubtedly, he can give you proper direction. Swapna, text 14. Swapna dekhi mishra ashi prabhuda charane swapnera britanta sabha kaila nivedane. Translation. After seeing the dream, Tapan Mishra came to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, and he described all the details of the dream to the Lord. Prabhu tushtahana sadye sadanaka hila namasankirtana kara upadesha kaila. Translation. Text 15. The Lord, being satisfied, instructed him about the object of life and the process to attain it. He instructed him that the basic principle of success is to chant the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Krishna consciousness movement is based upon this instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What was the instruction? Chant Hare Krishna. Then one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly and according to the prescribed principles. We simply ask our Western students to chant at least 16 rounds a day. But sometimes we find that they fail to chant even these 16 rounds. And instead they bring many austere books and a worshipping method that diverts their attention in so many ways. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult is based upon the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Lord Chaitanya first advised Tapan Mishra to fix his mind in this chanting. We, the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, must strictly follow this advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 16. Tanda icha Prabhu Shange Navadvipa Vasi Prabhu Agya Dila Tumi Jao Varanashi. Tapan Mishra's desire was to live with the Lord in Navadvip, but the Lord asked him to go to Varanasi, Benares. Anyone has been to Varanasi? Yeah? No? That's we have passed through, right? The train, on the train. Be a few seconds there. Varanasi is the capital of Mayavada. I mean, it was and still is quite prominent. Tapan Mishra's desire was to live with the Lord in Navadvip, but the Lord asked him to go to Varanasi. Text 17. Tanha amashange tomara have darashana agya panya mishra koila koshite gamana. The Lord assured Tapan Mishra that they would meet again in Varanasi. Receiving this order, Tapan Mishra went there. Text 18. Prabhuda atharkya lila bunjitena pari swasanga chadana kene patayaka shipuri. I cannot understand the inconceivable pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For although Tapan Mishra wanted to live with him in Navadvip, the Lord advised him to go to Varanasi. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Tapan Mishra met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya was living in household life. He was married. And there was no indication that in the future he would accept the sannyas order. But by asking Tapan Mishra to go to Varanasi, he indicated that in the future he would accept sannyas, and that when he would teach Sanatan Goswami, Tapan Mishra would take advantage of the opportunity to learn the object of life and the real process of attaining it. Text 19. Ematta bhangare lokera kaila mahahita namadhiya bhakta koila padane pandita. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contributed the greatest benefit to the people of East Bengal. West Bengal, you have East Bengal, that's Bangladesh, by initiating them into Harinam, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and making them learned scholars by educating them. Purport. Following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna consciousness movement is distributing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and inducing people all over the world to chant. We are giving people an immense treasury of transcendental literature translated into all the important languages of the world. And by the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this literature is selling profusely, and people are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great delight. This is the preaching process of the Chaitanya cult. Since the Lord wanted this cult preached all over the world, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness is acting in a humble way, so the vision of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may be fulfilled all over the world, especially in the Western countries. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. That's it. So this is the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu interacting with different devotees. And we have heard, and this is sort of the conclusion of that section, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Tapan Mishra. It's very summarized, we should say, a few verses only. And instructs him to go to Varanasi. The story is that Lord Chaitanya had plans. And plans means that you see things in the future. Like, of course, it is said that in the spiritual world there is no time, or there is no influence of time. Right? Prabhupada often would say that and explain this point. However, in the material world, everything is about time. I have no time, Prabhu. Right? Can you read this book? I have no time. I'm busy. No time. This is the age of no time. But here, in terms of time, we can see that the Lord is ahead of times. And He's telling Tapan Mishra, you go there. In other words, I'll come there and I will do something with you. Like in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 11, Krishna tells Arjuna, Nimitra Baba Savyasachin, become an instrument. So all these different devotees who appeared in Caitanya Caritamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Lila, are associates of the Lord. And He used them to execute a particular purpose that He had. So in the case of Tapan Mishra, He wanted him there in Varanasi because the Lord eventually will come as a sannyasi. No, at this point he's a grihasta. And will engage Tapan Mishra in preaching, establishing Krishna consciousness there. And I heard a story from Sachinandan Maharaj, because Varanasi, it's very famous for the Mayavadis, right? And that's where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses with Prakashananda Saraswati. And some of you may have heard this story that the big sannyasis of, that place, the capital of Mayavada, were gathered once. And they have heard that this young, handsome, tall sannyasi, golden in color, effulgent, had come to town. And they were like, oh, but we heard that he just keeps chanting and dancing with all these people in the street, these lowlifes that don't know anything, they don't study Shastra, they just busy, earning for their living. But he engages them all in chanting, and he gets them into some kind of trance. It must be some kind of mystic, but it's a little, weird. It's deviant from what we do. We study Vedanta, we sit here, and we meditate on Brahman, and then we become self-realized. Om Narayana Namaha. They say to each other, that means you are Narayan, I'm Narayan. Okay, we all are God. We're all are one anyway. So that's the mood. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and then with his humility, he dismantled their pride. And he sits, in traditional system in Vedic, and still we can see in India, near the temple or at the entrance of the temple, there's always a place where you wash your feet. Still here. I have gone to sometimes some Hindu temples, and then you can see there's a place where people wash their feet. Why? Because when you walk around, even if you wear your shoes, your feet get contaminated. So then you have to purify them, wash them, and then you enter. Like that. That's the system. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the place where the feet of all these people, whoever entered that assembly, would be washed, right? And that's dirty. Can you imagine? The place that everyone's washing their feet, and he just sat there, right? But because of his spiritual potency, and to show them a lesson, then he started emanating this light. Mayavada means that their energy is just everything about the energy, the Brahman. That's Brahman's everything. So this light, this incredible effulgence started to emanate from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Prabhupada often would say, what do you call those? The glow worms, yeah, right? We bought a lamp in our place, right? And the first night we turned it on, we saw behind the glass, the window, there's so many of them. They were just there, right? And I remember some of Prabhupada's statements about that. They're just there, Just turn on the lamp, and so many of them came, and they were just all gathered there, right? The next morning they're all dead, right? That's it. That's my, electrocution, spiritual electrocution. So they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's effulgence, and they became attracted. So the head of the Mayavadi Swamis, Prakashananda Saraswati, came and asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could see that he was an exalted personality. And then he comes and says, my son, please come here. And, there's a whole exchange. And then he raised him up, pulled him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enters, and they start discussing, because seeing his potency, they're very careful. Mayavadis are very careful to do everything right. So I self-realize. I become Brahman, realize, and one, and all that. So they are very, very careful. They read. They read. The Paka Mayavadis, they read a lot. That's one of the main things that they do. They meditate on themselves or whatever. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he convinced them that actually, the most important thing is to glorify the Supreme. He is very expert in presenting things, logic and reasoning. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, we have to present things with logic and reasoning, right? So he convinced them by his influence, by his erudition, right? By his kindness, his mood, like that. And then became infected, as Prabhupada says. They became infected. And what was that infection? That they start chanting Hare Krishna. And then he started kirtan. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare. Believe whatever you want, but let's chant Hare Krishna. That's what his mood was. So then he got everyone chanting. And you can see the paintings in the Chaitanya Caritamrita and all the Mayavadis there, and the effulgence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu around him, and everyone's just in ecstasy. So this is a well-known story of Chaitanya Lila, and but I heard this interesting story from Sachinanda Maharaj. So when I was reading about this pastime in Varanasi, it came to mind. He tells a story that one day, many, many years back, he went on a pilgrimage. He went on a search, on a quest, as a sannyasi, and he wanted to go on his own. Sannyasis generally travel with assistants, secretaries. People pay for their, airfares, and everything's arranged for them. Everything is super comfortable, the best car, correct? Yeah, that's what we do with sannyasis. That's the standard. So he sort of sneaked out from the radar, and he just went to several places because he was writing and he wanted to live in a very austere way and on his own and meditate. And sometimes when people are around them, everyone wants a piece of them. Maharaj, this is happening in my life. Maharaj, what should I do with this? Oh, he said that. I want this. Should I study this? Should I work here? My son, my daughter, the whole thing. I have seen it. And they very kindly, entertain us and encourage us. So Maharaj didn't want that. So he went on a trip on his own. So he ended up in Varanasi. And he was meditating on these pastimes, and he was writing some realizations and things like that. So, as you do when you travel in India, like very austere, like the sadhus used to do. Let's remember, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was walking all over. And all these devotees were walking. They were not, like nowadays you just buy a ticket, whether first class, train or airplane, so it's very comfortable, very quick. You just get there, then, Mayapur or Calcutta, then Puri, then, Vrindavan, Rishikesh, South India, everywhere. So simple, so easy now. But Maharaj was doing it the hard way. So he was very tired. That's one thing that I realized, having tried to do something like that in my early days as a brahmachari. You get very tired, because it's hot, crowded, uncomfortable. You seen the trains in India, right? Right? This is softer, right? And there's a bunch of people there, and it's like a whole experience. So mentally, you also get very tired. So Maharaj was very tired, and he reached one of these halls in Varanasi. And then, as sadhus do, you can try it at home if you want. You just put your chadar. Yeah, sadhus just travel with chadar and very simple, one bag, and that's it. And he just put his chadar, right? And he lay there on the floor. I think it was stone or some floor like that. And then he covered with his uttarya, his eyes like that. And then he fell asleep. He was very tired. And then, in kind of, sometimes when you are dreaming or when you're sleeping, and it's like you're halfway into a dream, and then sometimes you are thinking, dreaming things, you are hearing things, so you don't know where you are. Is it like a twilight zone? Have you been in that? That you're almost awake. You don't know if you're awake. You don't know if you're dreaming. What's going on. The alarm sometimes, what's that sound? Right? So he was like that. And then what happened is he started hearing this loud noise. And it's just like something very familiar, right? And there we're chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He was thinking, he says, am I dreaming? Am I somewhere else? And then, at some point the loud noise became very evident. It was not his imagination or dream. There were some people chanting, right? So he wakes up, he thought, like sometimes you may be sleeping somewhere and then you're afraid that some guard or somebody will come and chase you away. You cannot sleep here, But in India, people are very, very kind like that. So they let you sleep, no problem, whatever you want. And then he saw that there was these Mayavadis chanting. All these sannyasi, Mayavadis. And then he became perplexed. He says, how come these sannyasis, in his broken Hindi, whatever language, he was trying to ask them how, and then they were trying to explain. Some of them were able to talk a little English. And then he says, oh no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and gave us this and has passed down. So he was telling that these were descendants of these Mayavad sannyasis that were able to learn from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how to chant. And Maharaj says they were Paka Bhaktas. They were, the nectar of Harinam, Harinam. They were saying different verses, glorify the name of Krishna, like that. So that was the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be sang in that place. And these different devotees occupy a very important, instrumental role in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfilling that. So stepping back from the pastime, the verse that it's written here, 16:9, refers to the influence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intellectual prowess. The word is vidya. Vidyara prabhava dekhi. Dekhi means to see. Chamatkara chite. Right? So by seeing this amazing, attractive prowess, people were drawn to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the center of that place, and he's traveling, right? Different places. He went from Navadvip, and then initially it is in East Bengal. This pastime takes place in Bangladesh. Because actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ancestors come from Bangladesh, right? We had the opportunity to go to his grandparents, and there are many interesting pastimes in there where he manifests himself as Krishna, right? What was it? His grandmother? His grandmother was like, you're my baby. You're not... Did he come back as a sannyasi? I forgot now. He was a sannyasi when he returned? No, I think he was grihastha still. Huh? So anyway, he goes there. It's south of Dhaka. And he's there. Still you can see the house where he lived is kind of dilapidated. Brick, mortar, and things like that. And the devotees will tell you where the kitchen was and where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will live. And it's amazing. It's like a museum, It's not well kept like here in the West, but you can feel it's something very, very special. And then there are deities, and there are a very nice temple there. Devotees kindly, they took us there. And the grandmother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling, you're my baby. You're my baby. I need to feed you here. And Chaitanya was trying to preach to her, Like sometimes, remember when you became a devotee, and then we go very eagerly to preach to our parents. Remember those instances? They didn't want to know anything about it. Most, in our cases, Westerners, you're crazy. I remember my uncles lining up, my uncles and my senior cousins lining up, one after the other, entering my room trying to preach to me. You're going crazy. Why have you smoked? Maybe you're drinking too much or something. Like they couldn't, understand why would I leave my university and whatever. The youth that my mom has bought, Toyota Hilux, has just come out that year, and she bought one to keep me there. And I was like, no, I want to join the ashram. I want to join the cult. Cult, Prabhupada used the word cult, if you notice a few times here. And cult nowadays has a very bad connotation. Cult means that, somebody stole your brain power and it's exploiting you, etc. But cult actually means cultivation. That's what it is. A group of people that are cultivating something. It's not like a cult, necessarily something bad. Has turned into bad because many groups that were supposedly cultivating so-called spiritual life abuse people. But the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada says, is there. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing a few things few things here. It's quite interesting. First of all, let's go back to our dear Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that there are 4 people that come to him. Who remembers what are those people? Just remember one. Share. Distress. This is us. Distress. Who else? Searching for knowledge. You went all the way up. Yeah. So distress, the one who wants takas, right? Please, God, give me, right? Health, wealth, and wisdom, right? Give me something for me and my kids, right? That's the mood. And then those who are inquisitive, those who are thinking all the time, what is life? What is this? What is that? And those who are searching for the absolute, knowledge of the absolute. So that's a slight difference there. Inquisitive, but the knowledge. So that's what Krishna says. Those 4 people kind of people come to me. And out of those 4, which is the best? The one who's looking for knowledge of the absolute. That's the one. He glorifies them there. Now, again, taking a few steps back. Bhagavad Gita has one purpose. To take us from selfish, this is me, my life, my future, my, good results or bad results. Arjuna was playing that part. I don't want to do this. This is too hard. I'm going to incur in sin. So I don't know what to do. I don't know. You tell me, Krishna. That's basically the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. So a very selfish mentality on one hand, we may say. So as Burijan Prabhu explains, Bhagavad Gita takes us from selfish to selfless. From selfish to selfless. I don't care anymore. I just want to do Karishye Vachanam Tada. Whatever you tell me, I'll do. Nasta Moha Smriti Labda. The illusion in my mind has gone. Now I just want to surrender it unto you. That's Bhagavad Gita. Right? Now, how do you apply that? That's explained in Bhagavatam. The different... And actually Bhagavatam, it's very dramatic in its beginning. You see, before Sudha Goswami was occupying the Vyasa-san, who was there? About to give Bhagavatam class, right? In the roster, you have different names, right? So, that day, shall we say, someone was rostered to give the Bhagavatam class. Who was that? Ramaharshan. So, to establish the principle of purity, Dharma Prajita Kaitavo, the second verse of Bhagavatam explains. Lord Balaram came and he said, you're not giving Bhagavatam class today, because you are impure, you're proud, you haven't shown respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I save the details for another class, right? Some of you know what he did. So he says, remove them. And then Sutta Goswami occupies the place. His son, actually. So that's Gita, that's Bhagavatam. So what is Caitanya Caritamrita? Caitanya Caritamrita, Srila Prabhupada explains in the beginning of 2 books. Caitanya Caritamrita has how many volumes? 17, right? 17 volumes. So it's quite big. You have a copy there. But if you don't have that much time, which is generally the case, then you can read a very small book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, right? There's another book also that the essential teachings of Mahaprabhu are presented in the Nectar of Devotion by Rupa Goswami. In Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, we find his teachings to different people. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, discussions with Prakasananda, Saraswati, etc. We find them there. And it's quite interesting. Many things are very interesting about this Caitanya Caritamrita. One of the things that always perplexes me is that, and I said this many times, that Srila Prabhupada was teaching Caitanya Caritamrita to the hippies in 1966. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness was established when? Which year? 1966. Which month? Says the voice from the above. Let me somewhere. Which month? July 1966. All right? July 1966. Srila Prabhupada, early in 1966, was giving classes on Caitanya Caritamrita. And I was researching this morning when he was giving, right? The first ones, at least the ones they come in that package with all Prabhupada's classes, they're in November 1966. And I was hearing one of those classes and the intensity. Okay, let me backpedal here. Bhagavad Gita is ABC, right? That's primary school. Then Bhagavatam is, shall we say, high school or university even, right? First 6 cantos and then higher. What is Caitanya Caritamrita? PhD. So imagine you barely know how to read and write, figuratively. And then you walk into the storefront. And there is Srila Prabhupada teaching PhD stuff. And he's saying it as it is. Right? It's amazing. It's just mesmerizing. So, Bhagavad Gita takes us from, who remembers? 2S. Selfish to selfless. That's Bhagavad Gita, right? And Bhagavatam shows us how to become totally selfless. In the case of an author, like Srila Vyasadeva, in the case of many kings. What are those kings that are referred to in Bhagavatam? Many. Practically everyone is a Maharaj. Give me some names. Parikshit Maharaj. Who else? Every Maharaj, apart from the sadhus, were. Rishabh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he became a, yeah. But there's so many. Prahlad Maharaj, he was a prince. Dhruva Maharaj, so many kings were there. So how to become selfish to selfless, it's exemplified in the Bhagavatam. But something really nice that I heard from Prabhupada, he's saying this morning, that Caitanya Caritamrita has the purpose to take us from helpless, right? Okay, I know I'm the spirit soul. I know I'm not this body. I don't have any expectation of this material, let's say. Right? Everyone's going to die. Doesn't matter who comes to power, who comes to office. It's going to be the same. My wife was telling me yesterday how in Australia nowadays they say that these big supermarkets, right? I don't want to mention names here, right? have been cheating us, right? Because of the situation and COVID and so many things and, right? So, how to solve this? How to solve this? We're helpless. That's what Prabhupada says. Helpless to helpful. Right? Helpless means you're drowning. And when somebody helps you, then you're safe, you're alive, you're afloat. But Caitanya Caritamrita take us not only to be saved, but to save others. Right? It's not only you, like in Bhagavad Gita. It's all about you, basically. The first 6 chapters, all about you. You are the one who doesn't know your identity. Then you get to know what's your duty, what is the type of learning, what is the type of experience, what is the type of thinking. Those are the sequence of the first 6 chapters. And then how to do that, how to apply that. Then you are given Bhagavatam, 12 cantos, 18,000 verses, right? And then the Bhagavatam takes us to pure devotional service. Executed by whom? Who are the representations of the pure devotional service? Who? The topmost. Radharani, the gopis, headed by Radharani. So the peak of Bhagavatam is in 10th canto. And then we scratch our head and we think, how I'm going to get there? Right? It's almost impossible. We start reading. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, they forbade their followers in reading certain books when we go too intimate in the leelas of the gopis. And there was a particular pastime where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said to his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I need to print this book. I need to, produce this book. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, okay, you can print, but just one copy for you, no one else. So we have to be very careful with these things. But then, Krishna, very kindly, he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa. He comes in the form of a devotee. Krishna, right there, with his brother Balaram, with his consort, Srimati Radhani, he says, no, these people are too helpless. So he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he brings his brother along, right? Lord Balaram in the form of Nitai. And he helps everybody. Not only helps them to help themselves. That's what Prabhupada says in chapter 6, Bhagavad Gita, in one of the purpose, text 24, I think. He says, God help those who help themselves. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to help us, but not only to help ourselves, but to help others. And that is the greatest thing in human interaction. You may be a good person, but you are a much better person if you help others to become good. Right? We hear all these stories about philanthropic people that go there and build hospitals and schools and sacrifice for the blind or for this or for that or for the whatever. Right? So materially that's so great. He did so much and gave so much money to this or did so much work for this or that. But it's temporary. It's temporary. It's okay, but it's temporary. But in this case, as Prabhupada explained, this is the highest welfare work. Not only to help yourself, but to help others. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to do. Not only to help his direct disciples, not only to help his family, right? He instructed his mother, he did so many things, he did pinda for his father, etc. But to help others. And who are those others? Who are those others? You. Us. All of us. Not only us, but those who don't even know that they are meant to be helped. Right there, most people in the world right now, most people, they don't know about this, isn't it? Most people, if you think about it, we are the minority. Am I right? We're the minority. Although we think, we go to these big festivals in Mayapur and then we see thousands of devotees. What was it, 2015? That they expected 10,000 devotees to come. And then how many came? 12,000. And then the Maharajas were saying on the stage, we have a problem now. The TOVP, it's already too small. It's already too small. This is the problem with the Hare Krishna movement. We grow. Sometimes too fast. So there are most people in the world, they don't know. So our duty is to think of them and try to help them. Maybe one by one. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada starts the teachings of Lord Chaitanya saying, Lord Chaitanya's mission. So I know that we don't have much time and I know that we are very busy. But if we can summarize all this Chaitanya Caritamrita, all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, we just have to read the 8 stanzas, the 8 verses, the Shikshastaka. Go deep into those. There are some books with the commentaries of some of the acharyas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, etc., that explain what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to do. Not only to help us, but to help the entire world. We stop here. Any questions, comments, corrections, anything? Mate? It's loaded, the microphone.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. You're mentioning that Lord Chaitanya came so he can help us, but not only that we help ourselves, but we help others. And then we hear the example of if the plane is going to crash, first we put on our own mask and then we're able to help. So to what degree do we need to make sure that we have a good, some foundation in order to give? Because we, in our movement, we do it simultaneously, but every individual is different. But so what's the principle underlying having the strength to also share with others?
Simple example, as Krishna uses analogies, Prabhupada and all the great preachers use analogies. So we use analogy. Have you ever been drowning? No? Okay. So when you were drowning or near to drowning, you knew that you cannot help anybody. So we need to measure ourselves and how do you say that? Assess. How much am I drowning? How much am I, floating? What's my strength? What's my stamina? How much can I do? Right? How am I chanting my rounds? How humble or not humble I am in my performance of devotional service? How, helpful I'm to others, to the devotees. How obedient I'm to my spiritual master. If all those things are failing, that means that we cannot help others. So first, fix that. And Prabhupada said in that regard, the highest realization is self-realization. So first, we have to save ourselves so we can help others. No, I saved myself and now I can go back to Godhead. Bye-bye, people. Tough luck. No, we need to be honest like that. With all humility, like Sanatana Goswami, put a stick in our mouth. Don't say much. Just listen to Guru, Krishna, the devotees, and then do what you're meant to do. If we see that we are struggling, don't attempt to save others. First, Prabhupada always says, strengthen yourself. And when they ask him, Srila Prabhupada, how can we strengthen ourselves? You know what he says? Go to Lord Nitai. Go to him and ask him. He's the one who gives. Because in Krishna Lila, Lord Balaram, that's why he's called Balaram. He has what does he have today? He has the plow. So my Guru Maharaj says when he's using the plow, you know where he is? In Vrindavan. And sometimes I see that he uses the club. So he goes to, Yeah, Dwarka or other like that. Mathura, he goes to fight with, So he goes to different places like that. But the mood is always doing, strength. So Prabhupada said, ask Nitai. So we ask Lord Nitai. And Lord Nitai is represented by the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, the devotees. Then we would go, and this is, I heard also from my seniors, say if you really want to advance, he says, go to any devotee that you see that is engaged, and say, Prabhu, can I do some service? Can I help? Anything. And then, gradually we may advance. Okay, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Tapan Mishra Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
Jagatamandhare Siki